Welcome back to the Mario Kart 8 200cc playthrough. Now I'm going into the retro courses and then I'll do the DLC after I've done these. So first up is the Shell Cup. Now Moo Moo Meadows, I think I've talked about this in one of the other runs that I've done this game, but it's the course that to me shows the biggest graphical improvement between the Wii version and the Wii U version, because it really emphasises the direction they've put in terms of art style. The fact that there's these more detailed textures now as opposed to the Wii version, which although they possibly could have done more detailed textures, obviously not to the degree that they have here, but something a bit better than they did. They kept it as a very simple colours gig going on. And it did the job, but this just looks so much prettier. And then we get all the cool lighting effects on top of that, which I always appreciate. Oh, dodgy cows. And you might have noticed Bowser has got his flesh back in between these two recording sessions. I thought I'd go back to using the build I did in the Mario Kart 8 tournament, just to kind of change things up so you've got something slightly different to look at. Now somebody in the comments of the Mario Kart Mondays video I was in said this isn't quite the best build, like with the way I play, but I'm gonna have a little tinkle with it, see if I can get better, because I tried that other setup I was using which seems to work well, but I like doing things a little bit differently sometimes too. Get back here, Luigi. Where can I place this banana that will get in someone's way? Let's try here. Well, I came first overall, which isn't too bad for a first race. I love Bowser's expression there, he's got his arm in the air excited. Look how arbitrary that gravity section there is. We don't have anywhere to smoothly integrate the gravity section, so let's just lift the floor up. Hey, it works. Nice to be able to play these Super Circuit tracks without them sucking, honestly. I don't think Super Circuit's like one of the worst games ever or anything, but it's probably my least favourite Mario Kart, tied with the Super Nintendo one. I'm just not too big on the 2D Mario Kart format, it just doesn't feel right to me. And the perspective of Super Circuit really doesn't help it at all, because it just feels weird to play. And that's not the thing about all 2D races, because I do at least somewhat enjoy the Super Nintendo F-Zero. So that game, it's got a reasonable sense of speed. The one thing that bugs me about that though is I find the biggest obstacle or problem in F-Zero to be the other racers. It can be quite annoying when you're in a tighter area, a tighter bit of track, and you just keep on bashing into the car in front. Yeah, I'm noticing my drift seems to be a little bit wide with this setup. So I'm kind of having to brake more to compensate for it. Fifth, to kind of balance out the fact I was doing too well in the first race. I can cope with that. I thought I'd have to pay a lot for this track, but it turns out it was pretty cheap. I'm sorry. I won't leave now, but I will leave when the recording's done. Get back here, baby Daisy. You're a useless character, I want to hit you with my shell. This was originally a DS course, and I did like Mario Kart DS a lot back when that was the most recent Mario Kart game. I've grown a bit of a distaste to it over time though, and that's purely down to the control of that game. It feels really kind of clunky. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that you're trying to use a D-pad on the DS, which isn't gonna be as smooth as using the analog stick on the Pro controller, which I'm using now. And that is the thing I notice a lot when I play other Mario Kart games, in that this game's control has really spoiled me. It's just so much smoother than any of the other games that came before it, I think. I guess maybe 7 was okay, but that was like restricted to the 3DS's irritating little thumb pad thing. Which, the thumb pad, I understand why they used that setup, because they didn't have much space to work with. But still, it's really not that comfortable. And as an aside with the 3DS's design, it also kind of bugs me how the D-pad underneath is just so small. It's really not that comfortable to use for anything, really. Kind of wish they'd kept the DS's D-pad, because that was a lot bigger, at least on the fat DS model that came out first. Whereas the 3DS one is tiny. It's just not fit for purpose, I don't think. Toad's fucking Turnpike. I don't like Toad's Turnpike. And by that I mean I did like Toad's Turnpike, and it kind of... I got sick of it. But this, I will give it a lot of credit in that this is much better than the Nintendo 64 version of Toad's Turnpike, because that is just horrible. I'm not fond of tracks that have other cars on the road in general, because they just get in the way. It's not a fun obstacle, they're just annoying. They're just something for you to crash into while you're trying to pay attention to the other racers on the road. And that's a similar problem I have with the course in Double Dash that's like that as well. But that one, I think that's even more annoying, because Double Dash's control is really slippery and all over the place. And generally horrible, because it's this weird thing in Double Dash where your control feels really loose but your characters feel really heavy. I don't like that game that much, and that was actually my first Mario Kart game. And obviously at the time I didn't know better, but since playing the Wii version, 3DS one, this game, just going back to it, it really hasn't aged well. And I think Mario Kart 64 actually controls better than Double Dash. Someone put a bus in my way. Oh shit. Yep, let's just hang here on the wall as I get knocked. Yeah, still got first. I love how CPU Bowser, once you hand him over to the computer, it just crashes straight into that taxi there. I am now the first place for losers. Second place. Ah well. I'll see you next time for more 200cc Mario Kart. See you then.